Why again are we supposed to see John Walker as the bad guy? I know he's not really the bad guy or the villain of the series, but the Falcon and Winter Soldier show really drove home the point of John and Battlestar being a couple of mooks that deserve little to no respect or attention. Honestly, where's the hostility even coming from, and for what reason? It can't be because he was given the mantle of Captain America. I mean, Steve in his prime was awarded it as well, selected by the very government that Falcon and Bucky work under. It's one thing thinking that he wasn't the right choice, but what's the basis for that claim even? It's not like he was chosen at random or some kind of popularity contest. It's even stated that Walker didn't see himself as the captain, but he was chosen because he was the right man for the job. I can honestly see why Bucky doesn't like him, sure, but I don't think Falcon has any right, seeing that he initially turned down the mantle when the shield was literally handed to him, express delivery, in the last Avengers film. John Walker is the unsung hero of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Alright, let me add some context. We can all agree that the Avengers, each of them, caught bodies throughout all of the movies. Half of the Avengers have some sort of military background. Actually, now that I think about it, most if not all do, with Tony being more of a military adjacent kind of fella. But in every film these guys have been in, they've been snatching the soul out of most if not all enemy combatants for as long as I can remember. And it's usually within the first act of each Avengers film. Tony, snatching souls as soon as he put on Mark 1. Hulk, no mortal man is surviving an attack from the Green Goliath. Thor, a god, you're not walking away from taking a surge of lightning at point blank rage. Black Widow, literally an assassin. Hawkeye, literally an assassin. Scarlet Witch made Hulk go on a rampage, which definitely resulted in loss of life. I'm not gonna get started with Multiverse of Madness. Glazers will say that she was being controlled by the Darkhold and that's why she went on the murder rampage. Let's just do everything before Phase 5, okay? Vision gets a pass. T'Challa wasn't officially made an Avenger. Falcon casually incinerated people in righteous hellfire. And finally, old Captain America. You can say that Nazis aren't people, sure, but in the Winter Soldier, he was definitely sending motherfuckers to their maker of choice. With extreme prejudice. You can't tell me that he's not killing people with a single punch. In the first Avengers movie, he was making holes in punching bags with at least 1,400 pounds of force. The strongest punch ever recorded was by heavyweight boxer Frank Bruno at 1,420 pounds of force. This is the strongest punch ever, and Steve is casually doing it to punching bags with consistency. It only takes 700 pounds of force to break a rib. Now imagine something with rib shattering power, focusing the small point aimed directly at your chest. Fuck his fist, he's able to send grown men flying with a kick alone. Fuck a kick. Imagine the same force that can shatter ribs, but indestructible frisbee flavored. Captain America is not giving any of his enemies easy deaths. Now back to my original question. Why again are we supposed to see Walker as the bad guy? As soon as he's introduced, they're already glazing him. He's immediately charismatic, and all he's been trying to do since meeting with the Falcon and Bucky is work with them so that they can defeat the Flag Smashers. I mean, honestly, fuck Bucky, dude. He's being a whiny baby because it's not what Steve wanted. This show was about two Avengers throwing a temper tantrum over a metal frisbee. You know, I can see that the show may have been building John up so the reveal of him caving a guy's chest in would be more shocking, but honestly, the motherfucker deserved it. You have to think about this logically. John is a hardened veteran. He has put his life on the line many a time for his brothers, and after watching his battle buddy be brutally murdered, any sane man would go after the people responsible. What John did was the most human response possible, and the show propped it up as one of the worst things he could do as Captain America.
Look, there's blood on the shield. They're playing sinister music. This guy is tarnishing the name of Captain America.
The only reason he was stripped of his title is because he was recorded eliminating a surrendering, heavy quotations on the surrendering, opponent. We have to remember, these Flag Smashers are super soldiers. Right before John murked this guy, he threw a maybe 100-pound stone casually. Not only was he fleeing capture as a known terrorist that's killed people, he was fresh off being an accessory to the murder of Battlestar. John Walker, Captain America, was tasked with eliminating a terrorist threat, and after what they did, there's no reason for them to be kept alive. In reality, all we really needed was the leader. The person that John killed wasn't innocent either. If Battlestar hadn't intervened when he did, John would have been impaled by a super soldier. And you know who would have been responsible? The guy he fucking wrecked. And it pisses me off that everyone disowns this guy. I mean, I know he makes his comeback by becoming the US agent, but dude, can you really blame the guy for the choice that he made when he did? In my opinion, what would have been a better fall from grace is if Falcon and Bucky realized that this guy, this once regular guy, has been put up against insurmountable odds and that he may need a bit of help. Like, Bucky is just a hypocrite, seeing that he's going to therapy and he himself is on the quest for forgiveness, but fuck John Walker, I guess. He has my buddy's shield and it's not what he wanted. You don't think that even though Sam didn't get the shield like Steve wanted, Steve would still want Bucky and Sam to do their best to get this new guy to understand what it means to uphold the shield and be Captain America? Then he dons on this new costume, which is horrendous by the way, and parades around like he didn't play a part in the downfall of a man who risked life and limb for his country only to be tossed aside because of bad optics. How much more impactful would it have been if this show had Sam and John be friends and Sam watch his friend descend into madness for Sam to also be afraid because he believes that could happen to him? If anything, Sam and Bucky only added to the fire, and once Walker fully burned out, picked up the shield like he had the moral high ground. Newsflash, he didn't. Sam and Bucky were legitimate pieces of shits throughout the entire series. Oh, and don't get me wrong, I actually like these two characters. I just think this was a poor portrayal of them. Some bullshit rivalry was created between them just for some caca fucking drama at the cost of someone who didn't need to die. I wholly believe that if they were moving as a unit like they should have been, Battlestar would still be alive. But I do understand that he needed to die as to push John over the edge so that we could get this fucking scene. Imagine if they had actually cultivated a relationship between the two teams to when it finally got to Battlestar's death, John freaks out, chases down the Flag Smasher, and they get into a 1v1 squabble, and when John finally gets the upper hand and is about to deliver the finishing blow, Falcon and Bucky arrive to try and talk him down, only for it to fall upon deaf ears and watch as John eliminates his opponent with extreme prejudice, then giving Bucky and Sam a reason to be at ends with John being Captain America, thus creating a rift in their relationship and subsequently their effectiveness as a team, for Walker to then be straddled with guilt because he just killed a man in cold blood, and he doubts himself as being the rightful heir of the moniker of Captain America. This internal turmoil then makes it so that he gives up the shield, while he comes to peace with the death of his best friend, while also knowing that he's tarnished the name of Captain America. For him to then come back and redeem himself in saving the Senators, being able to get over his lust for revenge for the death of his friend, which they wouldn't even let him have. He could have saved those Senators while Bucky and Sam cleaned up the Flag Smashers, for Sam to then show up later and give his dog guarder speech at the end. You know, this show was also just an awful characterization of Sam as well. Like, why the fuck didn't the bank that he applied to for a loan not jump at the idea of giving the savior of the universe any amount of fucking money? And why would they only try at one bank? Why not go to the VA? Why didn't he try another credit union? Why the fuck would police officers not know who the fucking Falcon is? His face would have been literally everywhere for weeks on end. There's no fucking universe where the savior of all mankind isn't easily recognizable, especially by members of law enforcement. They only did this dumb shit to sloppily inject race politics into the damn show. Black man struggle and all that jazz. Isaiah was all we needed, thank you. Sam, you are at the tip of the iceberg. You know nothing of the struggle, at least in any meaningful way. Why is there people that think Bucky should have been the one to become Captain America? He was a literal Nazi zombie assassin who still goes to therapy for the horrors he committed while under the influence of said Nazis. A well-known super assassin that was responsible for the death of the parents of a one Tony Stark. God forbid the shield go to someone with an actual record of serving their country. I mean, Bucky did serve his country alongside Captain America, but I'm talking about modern day, okay? Bucky was a fucking Ruski and a fugitive from the law up until Infinity War. There's no reason why people will accept this man as Captain America. And even after he was shunned by his country, Walker continued to do what was right and go after the fucking terrorists who were planning on killing American senators because he said it in his heart that he would avenge his fallen brother, you know, like what Avengers are supposed to do. Why was Sam siding with the terrorists?
You have to stop calling them terrorists. What else would we call them?
Because they were misunderstood? Since when was he on that talk no jutsu type? He wasn't even the one to defeat the leader at the end. Even when faced with the fact that she could not and would not see reason, that all she wanted to do was burn the world and take what she believed was rightfully hers, Sam was still being a whiny little baby bitch. And he didn't even end up fucking killing her. Sharon did. Because if the choice were left up to Sam, he would have just fucking died. And ultimately for nothing. And the show had the audacity to give her some kind of tragic send-off. Sam, she was literally going to turn you into Swiss cheese. She was trying to kill you the whole final fight. She shot Sharon just moments before. There was literally no saving her. She was a villain through and through. You should have put her down when you had the chance. Instead, we got the all talk, no substance speech at the end in front of a bunch of people whose lives were just in imminent danger a few moments ago. Do better. Clearly, this idiot doesn't understand how foreign policy works.
Look, I get it, but you have no idea how complicated this situation is. You know what? You're right. And that's a good thing.
You know, I'm beginning to understand why the bank didn't want to give his ass a loan. These are the people tasked with keeping the world safe. You think if this fight were recorded, the American people would be on Falcon's side? Actually, now that I think about it, Sam being Captain America is perfect because it represents to the T the America we live in today, filled with a bunch of whiny communist sympathizers that think all problems can be fixed by yelling at your local senators. Oh man, they really couldn't give John a break throughout this entire show. Honestly, I would love to see a US agent show, something similar to Peacemaker. That would just be chef's fucking kiss. But in today's day and age, there's no way Disney would ever make a competent male character without some kind of villainizing flaw or an equally, if not more competent woman handler. This man was robbed. Falcon and the Winter Soldier were a missed opportunity, and I wasted a Saturday putting this together. Peace.